Have you ever felt like somebody was just draining your energy when you were around them every single time? Maybe it's a partner or a friend or a family member, or maybe it's every time you go to work, it's your coworkers. Today, I want to talk about how to protect your energy from negative people. So you might have heard the term energy vampire or emotional vampire. These are people who literally suck the energy out of you. These are people who have deep core wounds. This is where this stems from. A lot of the time, in fact, most of the time, these people don't realize that they're doing this. Most of the time, energy vampires don't know that that's what they are. These negative people feed off of stealing other people's energy. And the way that they do this usually is they do or say something to kind of pull you down and kind of catch you off guard in a way, in like a subconscious emotional way, kind of swoop in and, feed off of your energy. There are kind of two different types of energy vampires. The first one are people who are just purely this way because of their circumstances. These people might be under a lot of stress and don't know how to properly handle their stress. So this would be somebody who kind of has a buildup of stressful situations and kind of explodes on you. People who can't really handle emotional situations. And so when they finally explode, then they suck the energy out of you with them, kind of take you down with them. But the other type of energy vampire is somebody who is kind of like a lifelong person. These are the people who this is just who they are. A lot of the time they learned to live this way from childhood. We all are just doing the best we can with where we are at, what we have learned thus far in life, where we are at spiritually, mentally, emotionally. We're all doing the best we can. So not to make an excuse for an energy vampire, but this is what they know, this is what they've learned, this is how they have learned to survive so far, and that is why they do what they do. So how do you know if you're around an energy vampire? If you're in a really good mood, and then all of a sudden you just feel drained, exhausted, tired, odds are you're interacting with one. It could be, if you're one-on-one talking with somebody, it's obviously that person, but it can be a little trickier to determine, if you're in a group of people or if you're at work and there's, a couple people around you, or if you're in a family setting. If you feel like maybe you feel physical pain, you could feel it in a specific part of your body. Every time you interact with somebody, you could get a headache, or you could get a sore lower back, or shoulder pain. It could be a consistent pain in the same part of your body every time that you interact with that person. You could suddenly feel super exhausted, super tired, that feeling of needing a coffee pick me up in the middle of the afternoon, like, oh, I'm just drained, I'm so tired, like that feeling. And then when you leave that person, you might feel your energy come back and feel fine. Or sudden irritability, and that's kind of the same thing, where like you're just super crabby, super irritable, super like all of a sudden angry at the world and very annoyed. But then when you leave the situation, then you're just fine. So those are some signs that you may be interacting or dealing with an energy vampire in your life. And again, these people don't even always realize that that's what they are. The important thing is that you recognize that that's what they are, so that you can take the proper steps to handle dealing with them and interacting with them and not let it affect you at such a deep level. Our brains have what's called mirror neurons, and these are neurons that process, like when we're interacting with people, they process, tone of voice and body language and facial expressions and things like this, and they process them like immediately, like in milliseconds, nanoseconds, just so fast, immediately have you mirror them. So like your emotional state changes to match and mirror this person's based off of what your brain is able to analyze based off of the interactions that you have. And this is really cool, and it can be positive or negative. The thing is, the negative ones are much easier and faster for the brain to process and much more infectious. That's why when you know somebody who just kind of feels like sunshine, is super happy, and people say their energy is infectious, this is why. This is where that comes from. And this is why, like, if you know somebody who's just always got this bright smile on their face and they're always happy, and then you interact with them and you're very happy and positive energy and high vibrational, this is why, is your brain is literally mirroring everything it's analyzed about that person and reciprocating, which I think is super cool. When you watch a sad movie and it makes you cry, it comes from those same neurons in your brain, which I think is like pretty interesting. So we all have energy fields around us. They can be different sizes depending on your state. So if you have a very thin energy field, like it could be inches, that's very easy for an energy vampire to come in and drain your energy from. Versus if you have a very thick energy field, that's going to be a lot harder for an energy vampire to come and, drain your energy. Someone with a thick energy field is the type of person where people always stare at them, people notice them when they walk in a room. You know, they're very confident, they're very strong, they are unshakable people. Versus people with thin energy fields are people who are self-conscious, maybe depressed, anxious. People who are codependent have very thin energy fields. Energy vampires don't like people with thick energy fields because they cannot get to their energy, right? So having a thick energy field is really, really important when you're dealing with somebody with negative energy. Energy vampires or negative people like this, they will push your buttons and push you to try to thin that energy field so that they can get into it a little bit better. So ways that they might do this, they might, like if you're in a group setting, they might, you know, bring up embarrassing things that you've done or, you know, try to embarrass you. They might insult you. They might try to get you to gossip. That's a big one. Gossip really, really lowers your vibration, lowers you know, you as a person, thins that field because that's not a high vibrational thing. So they're trying to pull you from your frame so that they can sneak in and feed off any energy that you have. Humans were designed to live tranquil, peaceful, loving, happy lives. So when these energy vampires make you feel defensive or self-conscious or depressed or anxious, this is going to pull you out of that state that you are meant to be in, and that weakens your energetic protection. It lowers your vibration and helps them suck the energy right out of you. But the thing with energy vampires is when you do decide or are able to start thickening that energetic field around you and stopping them from stealing your energy, when they're used to, you know, maybe weeks, months, years of stealing your energy, and again, they might not even realize that that's what they're doing, but at a subconscious level, they do know that that's what they're doing. They can feel your energetic aura. They can feel that you have high vibration. They can feel all of these things. So they've been sucking your energy for so long. So when they know that they've been getting away with this for so long, and then all of a sudden, they can't do it anymore. All of a sudden, you put these stops to it. All of a sudden, you have a thicker energetic field. All of a sudden, they can't get to your energy anymore. All of a sudden, you are protecting your energy. They're not going to know what to do. You immediately disarmed them. All of a sudden, you're going to catch them off guard and they're not going to know what to do with you anymore because that's not how they've ever interacted with you at an energetic level. And they're going to be like, whoa, what the heck is this? Who is this? I don't know how to even interact with you because they're just so used to interacting with you at the way of stealing your energy and like emotionally manipulating you in order to gain your energy. So let's talk about how can we protect ourselves from energetic vampires now that we know kind of what they're all about, where they come from, who they are, how to find them. How do we protect ourselves? The first thing is to recognize when you are around one, when one is interacting with you, who the energetic vampires in your life are. So this goes back to you feel a certain way when you are having your energy drained from you. When you start to feel those symptoms, whatever that might look like for you, stop and kind of analyze the situation. Say you are at a family dinner and you're starting to feel that, kind of analyze, okay, who's all here? I've been with this person one-on-one and I've never felt like this before. I've been with this person one-on-one and I've never felt like this before. Kind of narrow it down and figure out, who is the energy vampire here? Figure out in which situations you're feeling this. Maybe it's a work situation, maybe it's with certain friends. Realize where these energy vampires are in your life. If they are people that you're able to distance yourself from, then obviously that is a great thing to do. If you don't need to be interacting with these people, then remove yourself completely. Take yourself away from them. They can't steal your energy if you don't give them the supply, you know? So pull yourself away from them completely. If it's not an option to do, let's say it's a work situation, there are ways to kind of interact and learn to not let them suck your energy. The next is to recognize, without justifying what they're doing, recognize why they are the way they are. So you don't have to know exactly to a T why they're being the way that they are, but recognizing that, okay, this is an energy vampire, or maybe they grew up this way, whatever it is. Don't justify it. Don't make excuses for them. Don't say, okay, it's okay, they're an energy vampire, they can't help it. No, we're not doing that. But we're recognizing that that's who they are, recognizing that it's not going to change, that we cannot change them, we cannot fix them, we cannot convince them that they're an energy vampire. That's the last thing you want to do. But recognize that the problem is with them and their wounds and themselves and their lives, and the problem is not with you. Anything that they do or say has nothing to do with you, and you need to create that distance between you two at an energetic level, at a mental level. Distance yourself Their actions, their words, everything that they're doing, everything that they're trying to do to get to you is a them problem, and it has nothing to do with you. Next, just focus on your energy. Don't worry about the energy vampires at all. I mean, obviously worry about finding them and distancing yourself and protecting yourself, but the main thing to focus on is your own energy. Work on your spiritual growth. Work on raising your vibration. Work on strengthening your energetic field. Work on your confidence. Work on your boundaries. Just work on your energetic field and your vibration and your energy itself, and not worrying as much about them. Recognize that these energy vampires are there. Know that they're there. Create the distance, but then don't worry about them. They are them and you are you. As long as, you leave the interaction, if they're upset, they're upset. If they're gossiping and you say, okay, well, I don't gossip, I don't want to be a part of this conversation, and they say, oh, okay, you're too good for us, or some, smart comment, great, leave it at that. They can go be upset. That's them in their own world, upset and getting defensive and whatever because they're embarrassed of being called out. Fine. Let them be that way. Carry on with your life. Worry about your energy and yourself. You know that you took yourself from a situation that wasn't what was good for you, and you did the right thing. Worry about yourself, not them. The next one, and I'm not going to talk too much on this one, but you can find videos like on YouTube and stuff. There's a technique called the energy shield technique, or I know that there's like the energetic bubble technique, and it's about like creating a visual in your brain of energy shields and energy bubbles so that they can't come into your bubble or break your shield, whatever. And to an extent, yes, I think that that's a great idea. Sure, that will help protect you from their energy. However, I don't love this idea because I think that it does make you still kind of fall victim to it, because you're in a way being afraid of them by putting the shield up, and I am not one to encourage people to be afraid. I'm very much so one to tell people to stand up and be brave and be strong in your frame. So I think that that's a fine technique if that's what you're into, but for me, I don't love it. I think that it's still letting them walk all over you in a way because you're afraid of them, and then they're still kind of trying to get into your bubble, versus if you stand strong in your frame, you're going to kind of push them away. And that's a little bit more of a strong approach to it, in my opinion, and that's more of a way to push them away and keep them away, versus they're going to keep coming back and trying to get in your bubble. And this is all my opinion, of course, you do what works best for you. So yeah, there is the energy shield technique, there is the energetic bubble that you can create. Those things are fine. Look into them if you feel called to. I just don't personally use those. I think that, I want to boldly state that you are not sucking my energy, and it is not happening. Thank you very much. And with that, you don't be afraid to be bold. Don't be afraid to say, no, you're not doing this. This is who I am, and you're not allowed to intrude on that. I was very shy, very passive, very much a pushover my entire life. And I let every single person in my life suck the life out of me for years and years and years, up until now. Now, no, you don't suck my energy. I walk away from you. Another really, really important thing that you can do is detach yourself completely. Emotionally detach yourself. Do not care about their opinion. Do not care about if they want to be your friend or not. Do not care about if they stay in your life or not. Do not care if they stick around, because you know what? If they are draining your energy, is that really somebody that you need in your life? If they are making you depressed and tired and anxious and sad and exhausted and making you feel these things all the time and making it hard for you to progress in life, is that really somebody you need in your life anyways? Detach yourself and say, okay, well, if they stick around and respect my boundaries and respect my energetic field, and they are able to stop trying to drain my energy, then great, fine, they can stay in my life. But I'm okay if they don't. If you have that mindset and just detach yourself completely, that is a great way to protect your energy. The less you care, the more things are going to work out for you, is in this scenario. One of the biggest things you can do to disarm an energy vampire is to call them out. Don't do it in a disrespectful or rude way, but just kind of respectfully calling them out and be like, hey, what are you doing? Why are you talking to me like that? Or the gossip thing, I don't talk about people who aren't here. That's, if you want to do that, that's on you, but I don't do that. Or why are you talking to me that way? I'm not talking to you disrespectfully. You don't need to talk to me disrespectfully. Call them out in a not argumentative way. That immediately makes energy vampires retract, because energy vampires' biggest fear is being caught being an energy vampire. And that is like the biggest thing that they're afraid of. So once they get like the slightest little hint that you're onto them being an energy vampire, they are going to run far away when it comes to like your energy. So calling them out and like kind of showing them like, hey, you're not taking my energy. I see what you're doing. It's not going to happen here, so you may as well stop. That is one of, if not the biggest way to, you know, get them to stop and protect your energy. Another one that I have implemented into my life, and one that I actually teach my kids as well, and I love this one, and it is, I guess you could call it the kill them with kindness, but it is being nice. Even when they're insulting you, even if they are being rude to you, obviously don't let them walk all over you. Obviously don't be a pushover, but like giving compliments, being nice, because when you're nice to somebody, like your immediate human reaction is to like do something nice back. And an energy vampire is gonna get very confused by this. But like I teach my kids to be nice to their bullies, because when you're nice to somebody, they usually, like I said, the human reaction is to do something nice back. So being nice helps the energy vampire kind of feel differently, and it kind of gives you that upper hand where it's like, because they, when you're feeling small and weak and you know all of these things, that's when they swoop in and they're like, give me your energy, you're weak, you can't protect yourself. But when you're like, hey, I really like the way you look today, they're gonna be like, thanks, yeah, you too, you know what I mean? Like they're not gonna know what to do. They can't steal your energy if you are confident and you are giving love and you are giving kindness and you are giving peace and you're helping other people feel confident. They can't steal your energy if you're doing that. So kill them with kindness, be nice, don't stoop to their level. That is like the worst thing you could do. Do not stoop to their level. Do not be bitter back. Do not do the whole, well, they did this, so I'm going to do this. No. We don't play that. We're going to be nice. We're going to spread kindness, even to people, especially to people like this, because these are the people who need it the most. The energy vampires and the mean, bitter people and the people who spread negative energy around the world, these are the people who need the kindness the most. Being kind to them is going to help them. And the one thing, at least for me, the one thing that we can do on this planet is help other people elevate their energy. So an energy vampire clearly needs energy, but instead of taking it from you, give them their own. I think that that's something super powerful and can be super helpful to them, and you know, maybe teach them something. You know, at the end of the day, every single human being on earth wants to be loved, wants to feel seen, wants to feel heard. We all want the same things, and that includes energy vampires. They just don't know the proper way to go about achieving these things, and the only thing that they know is to steal it from others, to steal this energy, to steal this good energy from others. They don't know the proper way to achieve these feelings. So the best thing that you can do is just spread love, spread kindness, help others kind of see, you know, lead by example. Help others see that the light, the love, the kindness, the generosity, everything already exists within us, and the more that we spread it, the more that there will be for everybody, and we don't need to steal it from other people. I hope that you got something out of this video today. If you did, please let me know down below. I would love to hear from you. Other than that, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!